All right, Bruins take down the Canes in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. And now, Evan Marinofski, we're talking about a Bruins team that's 5-1 in the playoffs and looks a hell of a lot different than the one we saw during the restart in the round-robin phase when they were just dreadful and treated this like exhibition games. So let's look at this game and all the games so far. And one of the things I loved about Game 1 against Tampa is, sure, this game could have gone either way. It was fairly even. There were some times where Tampa seemed to control the pace and they put on pressure. Great game by Halak. But the first line was dominant. And this is something that in past playoff performances, they relied too much on them. Now, it's taken a little while for these guys to find their groove because Pasternak's been out of the mix or not fully healthy. Now that you've got them, you've got the second line clicking, as well with Krejci playing 2011 version of himself and Coyle centering that third line. This is a different kind of Bruins team. And it's a lot of what we saw during the year. You just forgot because the layoff was so long. How do you feel about how they're playing now at this point after 6 games in the playoffs?
Great. I mean, it's so funny. If you had said to me after the round robin, after that horrendous round robin, you'd say, hey, the Bruins are going to go 5-1 in their next 6 games. One of it being a 5-game win over the Hurricanes and a Game 1 win against the Lightning. I'd go, what are you talking about? There's no way they can do such a thing. And they have. And that's the crazy part. And Marchand mentioned after the game when he was asked about sort of how they've kicked it off since the round robin. And he's like, we didn't really treat those as playoff games. They were exhibition games. And he said that 1,000 times.
He's been saying that,
It's not even tweetable anymore. It just always happens. He always says it. But it is true how they did ramp it up completely from that round robin to Game 1 against the Hurricanes. And now Game 1 against the Lightning, you come out against the Lightning. And I wouldn't say you dominate. I would say both teams kind of went back and forth, obviously. But the Bruins win a heavyweight fight. I mean, they won the first heavyweight fight. And that's what I'd say. Bruins Lightning, in my opinion, is Eastern Conference Final. We're watching the Eastern Conference Final.
Clearly. You might be watching the Stanley Cup final, honestly. You know, I mean,
also that
it's because it is. These are the two. I mean, maybe with St. Louis, these were the best teams in hockey all year. And again, as you said, it was a fairly evenly matched game. But for the first period plus, the Bruins kept the Tampa really got nothing in the center of the ice. And they wanted to get it going. They couldn't really. After the Bruins took a 2-0 lead, Tampa got a power play. They kind of sparked things. And they got things moving a little bit, but they seemed frustrated. They couldn't break through. They couldn't break through Halak. They got a little chippy. They took some dumb penalties. Your thoughts on whether the Bruins kind of got in their head a little bit?
Well, I think they did, and that's sort of always been the MO on Tampa is if you just get all over them, on them physically. I mean, that's why Cassidy matches up or loves to match up the Corrali line against their first line of Braden Point, the features Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov, because those two, when you're all over them, typically don't do well, and that's especially true for Kucherov, who Chara was just absolutely all over for a lot of that game, and that doesn't exactly help a guy who's trying to get his confidence going scoring-wise. But you did see the frustration showing. I mean, you saw the hit by Alex Killorn on Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy was nowhere even near the puck. I mean, just absolutely kind of dirty in my opinion. But again, that's frustration showing. A team that's up 3-0 or that's capitalizing on their scoring chances is not making that hit. That is a team that is frustrated. So to me, I mean, I look at this and, again, you factor in all that. You factor in 35 saves from a backup goalie and he beats you and you're Vezina finalist. I look at that and I say, yeah, I'd be pissed off too if I were them. Like, it makes sense. And I, again, it's Game 1. If this was Game 5 or 6, it's a much different story. But I think there's reason to sit here and think that some frustration is certainly kicking into the Lightning right now.
Yeah, and I love that. I love starting the game out there with the Corrali line, and it smacks of 2011 with the Merlot line, and you would have those guys out there with Paille and Thornton, and even though back then, when you'd get deeper in the game, you'd be like, all right, Claude, let's just roll 3 lines here in the third. Enough with these guys. It was cute while it lasted. But you love to see those guys out there because they do. They're frustrating and they're fast and they get in their, they get up in those guys' business and it's effective. And again, you've got now 3 lines of three lines where you can generate offense. You were getting Krejci had another point on a beautiful assist. Again, he's got a point streak of was every game in the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
that's nuts. I didn't realize it. You're right.
So he's been outstanding. I mean, he's been their best player so far, and now you're just getting that first line to kind of click in. So yes, while you can look at it and say, yeah, it took a big period from Halak, in the second period, and again, kind of withstanding a little bit of that late pressure. This was a 3-0 game for 18 plus minutes until a deflected screen. 18 minutes gone by in the third, gets by Halak. Regardless, if Tampa had put on the pressure that they did and the Bruins come away with a 3-0 win, you'd be like, wow, they really took it to them. The score is going to make it feel like it was a little bit more even than it was. But you have to feel pretty good about the Bruins going forward after a performance like this.
You have to, and that's the thing. I mean, again, and everyone's going to look back to 2018 when the Bruins convincingly won Game 1 against the Lightning and then proceeded to lose 4 straight and never even have a chance at winning those games. But this is a different team. This is a more experienced team. It's an older team. The younger guys are now older. And they're rallying around Halak in a sense. And I think that is also helping them. But you look at this team and, we mentioned the round robin play, the horrendous round robin play, as I like to call it. And this is almost the same team that left the ice in March. I mean, there's not a lot of differences. The first line is clicking on all cylinders, like the Bruins obviously need them to do. Krejci looks better than he did all season. Kasha looks like his main man at right wing. DeBrusk looks good. Again, I mentioned Kasha needs to start scoring, and I think the chances are there. He
needed on that break. First of all, he exploded to get free on that breakaway, but he needed about this much extra lift to get it over that pad. Just missed putting that one home. And you're right. You do want to see him start to score because if he does, that's going to be another, as well as they're playing, you could be generating more goals off of that line.
That's the thing. And that's why there's so much
there's more.
There's so much more potential there.
That's
the fun
it.
part.
That's where I'm coming at it is, I actually think you feel okay about the Kane series. I never, you figured they would find a way to win it, even if it was ugly and even if it took more games than it actually did. But the Lightning, you got to snap to it and play your A game pretty much the entire time. And I still think they're short of their A game. There's a little bit more there. They're doing some things extremely well, but you're right. There is actually another gear. You don't feel like they're in over their heads trying to hang with Tampa. You actually think that, there's still a best game to come, and you see games like this and you start to wonder, are they almost there? And did it take them this much time to ramp up? So I'm really interested to see kind of how Game 2 plays out, if the Bruins continue this or if Tampa kind of, holds serve, fires back, and because you don't expect them, you expect this to be a series.
To win a cup, you have to be able to pull out gutsy wins like Game 1. You have to be able to do that. And I think it's a very convincing and very, good sign for Bruins fans that the Bruins were able to do that in this game, in Game 1. I mean, it just was.
Yeah. You see anything changing in Game 2 in terms of approach?
I mean, I don't see how the Lightning don't come out firing. I don't. Yeah. And again, they did in Game 1 too. But I just think at Game 2, there's no way the Lightning don't come out just absolutely going on all cylinders. I know it sounds so cliche and it sounds terrible, but it is true.
I might just get some bodies in front of Halak and fire away. Don't try to be so cute.
Yeah, just shoot. It's those shots from the outside that have had his biggest problem.
That's been the issue the whole time is just fire away and throw some traffic in front of there. That's been everything so far as far as what's been beating him.
That's been it. Just throw shots at them. Look at the 2 goals Hedman scored. Look at the
Don't
goals.
Don't tell him.
In Carolina. Hopefully John Cooper is not watching this, taking down notes where Evan Marinofski and John Zanis saying about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Maybe not.
maybe he will. Maybe I'll send this to him. Say, hey, John, you should check this out.
Yeah. So we'll see. So it's Game 2 on Tuesday, Game 3 Wednesday right after. So we're going to have a lot of hockey real fast. We'll be here for all of it. So we'll be talking about previewing Game 2 tomorrow, and then we'll be here right after Game 2 and Game 3 again. So for Evan Marinofski, I'm John Zanis. We'll see you guys later.
Get 20% off and free shipping using the code MAX20 at manscaped.com. Take your grooming game to the next level.